Mark your calendar for April 18th and get ready for one of Bolivar Peninsula's sweetest traditions, the 2026 Watermelon Crawl. This annual family-friendly event brings the community together for a day of fun, laughs, and juicy springtime vibes, all benefiting the Peninsula Sports Park. Every stop helps make sure every child on Bolivar Peninsula can play the sports they love. Grab your friends, wear your watermelon colors, and crawl for a cause. More information is coming soon. Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and once again I'm here with Landon with Prestige Custom Builders, and we're going to do a little setup, a little different series. It's actually a series, I guess you could say. This is going to be a 3-part series on home construction.
Well, on the remodel aspect of it. Because, you know, we talk a lot about remodels during the fall, but, you know, we've started getting a bunch of calls for remodels here as people are starting to see, you know, the house before it gets to the springtime and things they need to get done or things they want to do before they get down here for something.
Honey-do list for a while.
Absolutely.
So I just want to let you know, this isn't just one show. We're going to take you each show for over the next 3 weeks is going to be a step. And this first one's actually the initial consultation, I guess you could say. So I decided, man, this home was built right after Ike. I need to upgrade some stuff.
It's time.
It's time. I call you. I fill out your form online on your website. Your wife calls me back, sets up the initial consultation. What takes place?
Yeah, so whenever we show up out there, a lot of times, you know, the customer will know what they want to do or have an idea of what they want to do. But when we're there looking, you know, I'll always advise if I see something that that could be a problem or something else that could be done. Not trying to sell you on a product, but there's no need in fixing all this other stuff if there's another problem that lies there. And so, you know, a lot of these meetings are with people who are from out of town or are not available right then. So I'm going out there by myself and I'm just looking at the whole scope of work. You know, we've been to about 10 houses over the last 3 weeks, getting calls for these remodels, and what I'm seeing is understanding the actual phase or how it works, which is why I wanted to come up with this 3-part series, explaining when we start out and we come out there and we do the initial evaluation of the home or what that remodel is going to look like. You know, we're going through there, we're taking pictures, we're taking notes. I'm going through, I'm writing down everything that you're telling me, and I'm taking pictures. I'm also doing some documentation in my head and putting it down on the pad of other things that I'm seeing here, because, you know, a remodel, you may see a little mold in a ceiling or you may see a little discoloration around some areas, but there's an underlying cause as to why that is there. Okay. So we may need to explore that along with it. I'm going to one right after this where we're seeing some things and then we got in the attic and we see more things. So we don't ever want to just take it at its eye perspective and
find out the why.
Exactly, the why and how we need to fix it and address it from there. You know, not all of it's bad problems. It could be just, you know, age of the home, or it could be, you know, a prior roof leak, or it could be, you know, a prior water leak or something of that nature. But we need to make sure that it's not going to be a problem moving down the road. There's no reason in spending the money to have to come back and do it again, right? So what that looks like when we come out there and do it, a lot of times, you know, it takes a week and a half to 2 weeks for me to be able to sit down, write up everything that you have going on in this house and get it all priced out for you. So I always kind of tell people, give me 2 weeks on the bid, and then when we turn the bid in, it's going to be detailed. It's going to be line item by line item. It's going to show you exactly what we're bidding out. It'll describe the work that we're performing and lay everything out, and that way you kind of have an idea of the generalized cost. Now, in any remodel, once you start taking things down, that's when you start potentially finding other issues. I can't tell you why this is happening without taking something down. So once I take it down, then we may have to reevaluate and address that other situation, that underlying problem. But we want to really make sure that we kind of go into it in detail and explain it to you beforehand so that you're not thrown off guard of, okay, we want to do this remodel, this is how much it's going to cost. Well, but now there's this. Well, you can't see what's behind the walls. So making sure that everyone's on the same page, making sure that you're understanding that I'm not going to fix something halfway and then just turn it over to you or say, all right, this is good enough for you to put it on the market or to rent out because, you know, somebody else finds it, somebody else gets sick, whatever the case may be. I don't want to be a part of that.
Right.
I'd rather not do the job than to do a job like that. So we're going to either do it right or we're not going to do it. But when we come out there, we're going to look at those things together. We're going to go through it together and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Great. Down here, you know, humidity.
Absolutely.
And that's a big problem. If a house isn't built right initially, then we saw it during Burl, a lot of wind-driven rain. And sometimes wind-driven rain's gonna happen because when you have 100-mile-an-hour winds, it doesn't matter if it's solid wood, it's gonna leak a little bit just about. But, you know, so taking the dive in, so once you get your bid done, then you go back through it with the customer and you note in there any areas, hey, when we pull this down, we're going to have to check this. Is the bid wrote up so that if there's any demolition, that's at the top?
Absolutely.
Sort of, so it's like a timeline.
No, it goes from the start of the job all the way through, and everything is laid out so that you know what our scope of work is. And that's really the best way to describe it, the scope of work of what we're demoing out, what we're replacing, what materials we're replacing it with, and the labor. Everything's broken down, material and labor. Everything's broken down line item by line item. And that way you can kind of see as you go through it. So I get the bid back for you. You and I have either a Zoom call or sit down meeting. We go over it together. We make sure that this is what it is that you're wanting to do. And then we lay out the timeline in which we can start. Making sure it fits into your schedule as well. You know, some of these remodels, people are like, well, you know, we've got plans there for spring break, but after spring break, you've got it until June or the, you know, until May or whatever the case may be when school's out. Okay, then we know when our start time is, when we need to be finished by. Is that achievable? Yes or no? And if it is, great, let's do it. If it's not, do we need to hold this over until later on in the year when the house is more open or anything like that? Just making sure that we're very transparent, making sure we're very straightforward and honest, just like we always talk about. One of the reasons why I love doing the show is people get to see me, they get to know me, they get to see that if we're sitting up here in front of a camera where everybody can watch, that this is going to be the same guy that shows up at my house. He's not going to blow smoke up my tailpipe, because if he does, all I got to do is come on the website and let him have it, right? But it is one of those things of, you know, we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly and that we're being, you know, transparent and honest with people, because I think a lot of times contractors get a bad name in general because someone has a bad dealing with them XYZ down the road, right?
Right.
Always great to vet who it is that's going to work for you, who's going to be in your house working with your personal belongings. You know, cheapest bid's not always the best one. And making sure that, you know, the person who is being hired to do the job can actually perform the job, right? I mean, I don't think there's any job down here as far as the remodel work or new construction that we haven't done something very similar to. So, you know, it's just the whole process of how we do it.
Well, and also being a home builder with that background and some of your other background, there's a lot of times if there is a problem, you probably know about why it happened because you're in that industry.
Have a good idea of where that, let's just say there's damage in the sheetrock. I'm going to have a good idea of where that's coming from. We may have to like really pinpoint it once we open it up, but I'm going to give you a generalized, hey, there's an issue going on here. We're talking about humidity. You know, right now is the toughest time down here at the beach because we've got these 70-degree days, right? 65, you know, 50 to 70-degree days. Really not cold enough for the heater to kick on. Really not warm enough for the AC to kick on.
Right.
So there's no humidity, you know, all the humidity that's here, and we get these mornings where the fog doesn't lift until 11, 12 o'clock. You got all that humidity in the air, and there's nothing to burn off the humidity inside your house. So, you know, that is a point. Right now is the toughest time for us down here. as far as humidity levels go.
Chris gets on me because we'll be sitting there at night, and maybe we didn't have the heater on because we were cooking. Well, then it gets to a point I've gone in and out or something, and it's not cold, but it's damp.
Yep.
And I go over and kick the heater on and let it run for about 10, 15 minutes. But it's a whole different house. And Chris, man, it's getting hot in here. Well, it's that or we're going to be sleeping on wet sheets tonight because of the humidity. So, so that's the initial visit. We've got our bid. What's the next step for next show?
Once we present the contract, you sign the contract, and then we're going to roll into the next show.
Okay. So there, the next show. We've got our, I've accepted the contract. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it yet. But I can tell you Prestige is going to remodel my home. And we're going to go hit the next step now in the next show. So next Monday or Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the contract's been accepted. The work's going to begin. We've got a 2-month window before summer hits after spring break. Let's see how they're going to get the job done and the steps they're going to take. Landon, thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye. Thank you to these 2026 video equipment sponsors. Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87. Beachy Beatnik Boutique, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87. And Latitude 29 Surf Shop, located at 1400 Highway 87. Thank you to these area businesses for being our 2026 video equipment sponsors for Bolivar Live.